My name is Frank Rhodes, and I'm here today because I want to protect one of our most iconic American brands, Chrysler.
And we're back with another video, and yes, you probably have already heard, and if not, I'm going to tell you, Carlos Tavares and Stellantis, they gave a statement. They made a statement, and they responded to Frank B. Rhodes Jr.'s overture to have a conversation about buying Chrysler and Dodge. If you watch my last video, I couldn't have been more clear in telling you that that was going nowhere. It was not going to happen for a multitude of reasons. One major reason being it did not appear that Frank B. Rhodes Jr., in all of his incredible, altruistic, beautiful mindset, and patriotic dedication, familial dedication for bringing back these brands to America and carrying on the legacy of Walter P. Chrysler, his great-grandfather. He didn't have the damn money. And the reality of it is, even if he did have the damn money, we're dealing with a company that's got billions and billions of dollars that absolutely is being ran by I believe, my opinion, a megalomaniac, a man who is so utterly committed to his vision, which in some cases has led companies into long-term massive success by saying, nope, even though you think I'm crazy, I'm going to keep doing it. Right, Jeff Bezos? I'm going to keep doing it. And that's how we ended up with Apple and with Steve Jobs. And when you get these people that everybody says are crazy, they'll never pull it off, tons of controversy, and they end up going on to create great things. And for that reason, a lot of these folks that are in this guy's universe, Carlos Tavares' universe, where he's getting a paycheck upwards of $40 million just in the last year, it's easy for them to look in the mirror and say, I'm a genius, and everyone else on the planet is stupid. And my plan is going to work. My agenda is absolutely going to become the most fruitful agenda in any car maker. And I don't care what Ford, I don't care what GM is doing. They are plebeians. They are not even in my league. I am the king of cars. King of cars, baby. And I am going to show everybody that I am right. And that's what I think we've got with Carlos Tavares. And whether or not the board of directors and Stellantis stands by him through this, who knows? But I can tell you that while he's playing a long game, I've learned that in business, and whether you're a shareholder or an executive in a publicly traded company, that you could hear the words playing the long game all day long. But the reality of it is the rest of the world is playing the short game. Wall Street's playing the short game. They're playing quarter by quarter by quarter, no matter how you cut it. So when he doubles down in his response, he said, and I'm not quoting exactly, but you can read the article that I will put in the comments below, or in the description below. He said they are committed. Actually, I've got it on my screen. I'm just going to put it up real fast because it's hilarious. And this is the statement that makes it all clear as day, what we're dealing with. Stellantis acknowledges the interest of its North American brands and reaffirms the company's commitment to its entire portfolio of 14 powerful iconic brands, which were each given a 10-year time frame to build a profitable and sustainable business, Stellantis stated. Like the Jeep and Ram brands, Chrysler and Dodge are at the forefront of Stellantis' transformation to clean mobility, that's EVs, benefiting from the group's cutting-edge technology and scale. The company is not pursuing splitting off any of its brands. Couldn't have been more clear. And like I told you all in the last video, they ain't selling. It's not even a possibility. And I'll tell you right now, everybody who's commenting saying that BYD's buying them, I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction. That ain't happening either. I'm sure there's some collaboration. I'm sure there's something going on, maybe in Mexico. Lord knows, but I can tell you right now, this guy, Tavares, is not just giving up these brands. That is not happening because there's no other way for him to find his way into the U.S. unless he makes this work. And if you read all the other articles, it's been clear as day that they are banking on these EV chargers to work. They need them to work so bad. And with that said, I think we all can predict, and I will say it here for everybody to be able to come back and watch this video, that it's not. And it's going to be a challenge, and it's going to be hard to sell. And it's not going to be like the old Chargers were and Challengers were, where people were clamoring to go and buy these things at stupid markups this last few years. They believe that still exists. It doesn't exist. That was a moment in time. If you look back at 2020 pre-pandemic, they were giving us power dollars, huge incentives. There were red eyes sitting forever. People were not buying because they were so utterly expensive. And then if you bought one for $85,000, you lost $10,000 to $15,000, almost immediately driving off the lot. And now everybody's head's in the clouds and they're holding on to these values and they're staying, for the red eyes, stronger than I expected, but still depreciating. And the more they're driven, the more they're beat up, the more they'll go down. But he thinks that the same effect will happen with the EVs, despite the massive near 50% depreciation on electric cars and the advancing technology that will leave anyone and everyone who buys an EV at this stage left wishing they would have waited for the better technology later on, because a second new technology comes out, the old technology craters in value, and that will leave so many people in debt and upside down cars unable to buy. And the same whole little snowball will continue to get bigger. And ultimately, Stellantis may have to do something. But right now, they're going to hang on. Carlos is going to hang on because he's not exactly the type, other than that one time where he blamed his arrogance. He's not the type to come on here and say, oh yeah, I'll go ahead and sell it. Sure, what the hell? And then I'll try to just rely on Alfa Romeo and Fiat in America. Give me a break. A Ram and Jeep alone. He's not going to do that. It's too hard to split that stuff up. I shared all that in the other video. So bottom line is, I think until Carlos is put in enough pain, quarter after quarter after quarter, then maybe they replace him. Then maybe they walk back some of this stuff. I think the little Hail Mary they have is that I believe there's enough people who will go and buy the twin-turbo i6 next year that will make those cars somewhat popular again if they don't fumble them, if they don't fail with the launch, if the dealers don't abuse the customers anymore, and if they build enough of them to be able to sell them at a reasonable price with incentives, then they might have a chance of having, after some catastrophic falling of stock price and dropping in profitability, that they'll be able to come back and he'll be able to say, look, everybody, I brought it back, which is part of the reason why I believe they're offering so many incentives on Jeeps. They figure they've got so many of those things on lots. They can sell tons of those things. They can come back in the third quarter and say, look, it was just an intermittent bounce, and now we're coming back, and next quarter is going to be better, and then we're going to launch this EV thing, and that's going to be better. But I still think Wall Street's going to beat the daylights out of him quarter after quarter. He's going to have some challenges. He's got challenges in Europe. And I think we just have to wait this thing out. And I'm going to keep doing my videos, and TK and Butter and everybody else. Everyone's got on this bandwagon. Look back a year ago, it wasn't a third as many people. It was like we were a few of the only people out there saying stuff. Now everyone's talking about Stellantis and all the follies and ridiculousness.
Get hot, I got hairy legs.
And ridiculousness that they are into and falling into. So we're going to keep sharing it because, hey, you know what? They're listening. Just the fact that Carlos Tavares and Stellantis responded, well, Tavares didn't, Stellantis, quote, did, their PR department did, with a pretty canned response, which is basically the same words they've always used, just like politicians. But the fact that they even acknowledged that what they would consider to be like an ankle biter offer, hey, we want to buy your thing even though we don't have the money or a price or any real offer to offer you, we'd like to get in a meeting and talk about it. By the way, Frank Rhodes did respond, and there's another article, I'll put that in the description below, where he came back and he's disappointed, very disappointed that Carlos or the other, I think it was a gal there, that didn't even have the courtesy to personally reach out to him. Let me just tell you, Frank, I'd talk to you. I think Racer X is going to talk to you. We all love you. You're down here with the rest of us. This guy, he's circling Pluto, and he's not going to give you or anybody the time of day. He's holding to his entire agenda. He's going to build these EVs and save the planet, and the rest of us are going to just be stuck with whatever the heck Ford and GM, everybody else is selling. In his world, we're all going to just fall in line with his geniusness. Well, I can tell you, I'm not, and not bragging, but he's alienating a large group of us slightly older folks who actually have the money to buy these things and are going to choose not to, because it's 80 grand for a freaking EV. It's not going to happen. Even 80 grand, 90 grand. If you've noticed, I've kind of pulled back on buying even the gas Hellcats. I'm not spending that kind of money, $90,000, $100,000 for those things. It's not going to happen. There's too many other really luxury cars I would go buy before I'd buy one of those things. He's dreaming. It's not a luxury car maker, but he's going to keep going down this road. And I'll tell you, even the older folks aren't going to let the money go and buy those stupid things. And the younger folks aren't going to finance them at 12, 15, 20% interest to go do donuts in. It's just not going to happen. So, Carlos, congratulations. You just bought your company back with that response. And I hope you enjoy doing what you're doing to it, because we're going to keep covering you and the total destruction that we believe you're doing here in America. And hopefully at some point they'll replace him, or they will tap out as Wall Street punishes them quarter after quarter. So with that, everybody, please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think about this. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
What we are seeing in the Western world right now is that the consumers are not supporting as much as the political leadership was expecting the EV ramp up. And the consumers, they are very clear in what they expect from us. They expect safe, clean, and affordable mobility. And safe and clean they are, affordable is the challenge. So they want basically to buy EV cars at the price of internal combustion engine cars.
Bullshit!